Welcome, Shades of Clarity channel, out here in the great outdoors. It's a nice day today, a little balmy, a little chilly. I think the low last night was like 40 degrees. So there's a little bit of wind, so please forgive me if that's picked up on the mic. What I want to talk about today is maybe I haven't been, one subscriber suggested that I don't get personal enough with my content and my story. And I think if you go back and you look at some of my earlier videos, and I'm going to cover something in this video that I did in the past, I did explain a lot of that at length in some of those earlier videos. But I do have new subscribers, and if you don't want to go back and check out those videos, I'm going to cover it. And it's also kind of going to parallel two creators. There's It's Okay to Talk. I think he's got like 7,000 subscribers. There's a newer creator called Sober Start, and he has chronicled, I think, 8 days of quitting cold turkey after a binge of alcohol. And he's only got 8 videos and already has like 1,000, like 1.4 thousand subscribers. And that's pretty impressive. Oh, no, Anna Barham's channel was doing really quick, shooting up there, but she seems to have slowed down in her output. So what am I going to talk about today? I'll talk about what they talked about. My worst alcohol withdrawal story. A good alcohol withdrawal story. Everybody loves that one, right? So for some reason, I was home from college. I graduated college. I was still living in Wilmington, but I'd moved back here to house sit. And I've been drinking a lot of beer. This had come after the DWI. I mean, I was still driving at that point because I was here. And I had driven up here. And I just decided, okay, it's at the house, it's going to be quiet, it's a good time to stop, and made the decision just to not even cut down, just stop. And I mean, I don't know, I can't remember exactly how much I was drinking. It was probably a little over a 12-pack a day. I'd say maybe 15, 16 beers a day. This is when I drank beer before I made the switch over to the old granny Chardonnay that made my life a wreck. So I go, that's it, I'm not drinking anymore. So first day I was okay. The second day things started ramping up and I started feeling uncomfortable. Shaky, just that feeling of unease, agitation started coming in. Day 2, I couldn't sleep. I was having trouble with my sleep. And by day 3, I was shaking really bad. Heart rate was up. I knew my blood pressure was up. I took it with a blood pressure monitor, and I think it was like 190 over 110 or something like that. It was high enough to where I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling good at all. Beads of sweat were, under my nose, on my face. I was just sweating a lot. So I had this fear of the emergency room for some reason. That fear obviously went away like later on. But I'm going to go down and see my general practitioner, my primary provider. And again, it's never recommended to quit alcohol cold turkey, benzos either, or barbiturates. The 3 of those 3, those are the only 3 that can kill you from the withdrawal. So it is highly recommended. I am not a medical practitioner of any kind, not a PA, not a nurse practitioner, not a physician's assistant. None of that, not a nurse. Please see your own primary care provider before you attempt this. You may be able to do it on an outpatient basis. They may recommend you go inpatient. But I didn't want to go to the emergency room, so I went just to see him. And I guess just from the assessment, he didn't think I was that bad off. I felt really, really bad. And I mean, after that 72-hour mark of quitting cold turkey after a heavy binge, or if you've been drinking for quite some time, that's sort of the hump, the make or break. Either the withdrawal is going to progress even further with a possible delirium tremens, even though it's very, very unlikely that would happen. So anyway, had enough to drink, decided to go down and see my primary care provider. Unbeknownst to me, he was a recovering alcoholic. And later on, I found out that he actually had relapsed at some point, he was a PA, lost his license to practice, went to Las Vegas with a bunch of money and once his money was gone, he committed suicide. So I didn't know at the time, but he saw me. I said, can you please give me something for this? I had not been taking any benzodiazepines. Of course, that's what I was trying to do, was try to do this on an outpatient basis, because I just gutted it out it was just getting too bad. And he's like, I can't give you anything. Take Benadryl, go home. So basically jumped back into my truck, came home. Another night of sleeplessness, symptoms intensifying. That night there were nightmares, I kept waking up. I was getting those hypnic jerks that, you feel that feeling like you're falling. You get right to that precipice and threshold of going to sleep and you jerk awake. Well, this kept happening. I was up all night, sweating, heart rate was up. Checked my blood pressure again. I think it was like 200 over 110 or 100, something like that. I'm like, I still should have called 911, or I should have gone to the emergency room and gone in there and told them I'm in acute alcohol withdrawal. I quit drinking 2 days ago, because this is around that 72-hour mark. So instead, what do? I make another appointment. I go back and see the same PA, and I said, these symptoms are intensifying. I'm feeling worse. I don't want to go in delirium tremens. I don't want to have anything like, any terrible outcome, a heart attack, a stroke, anything like this. It's dangerous. I know he knew it was dangerous because he was an alcoholic. He may have even been through it. I found out later he had gone to the same treatment center that I talk about a lot when I talk about treatment in this channel. And he knows how dangerous it was, and why he didn't at least give me Librium or something and say, go home, take this, come back, let me know, a follow-up, just a short taper of either Valium, diazepam, or chlordiazepoxide, Librium, and just see how I felt at that point. But no, he didn't do that. So aggravating, and I had to gut it out, and with no sleep for like almost 4 days after that. And this guy, Sober Starts, talk about how bad he felt, and shout out to him. And also, It's Okay to Talk. It's Okay to Talk was talk about having to, he kept setting these days that he was going to quit because he had a new job coming up on Monday. And it came down to, I think he put out a video, he had this big beard, he had like shaved it off. And so the next video he put out, he had made it through, he said that there was some alcohol withdrawal, but he had made it through his first day of work, and he was terrified about going in there and doing that. And he made it through, and I think he's on day 8 because he just released another video. So they're both doing well, and that's great. Hats off to you. But that was the last cold turkey withdrawal I ever attempted, and it was pretty bad. And I had only withdrawn maybe 2 times prior to that with no problem. But due to the kindling effect, that's what caused this withdrawal to be so bad. And it was unmedicated for the whole next month. I was just absolutely lethargic. It felt like at any minute I was going to fall asleep, like I had narcolepsy. I had no energy. I could barely even lift my head. Work was hard to do. Anything physical, I couldn't do it. It was amazing, and it lasted an entire month. It was in May when I did this withdrawal. So June, all of June, was just me being exhausted. And I don't know how long I stayed sober after that. I think I may have had 4 months, 5 months, something like that before I relapsed. You know me, I was a chronic relapser. But I'm going on the 23rd of this month, I picked up 10 months. So in June, when I hit the year mark, I'm going back to the attorney to talk about getting my driver's license back. That's going to be a big weight off my shoulder when I finally reach that goal, and maybe I'll start doing a series about everything leading up to that, if this channel's still around. But I just thought I'd let you know about that withdrawal. It was nasty. Never do it. Or at least try to cut down, at least talk to your doctor before you do any of that stuff, or go to the emergency room. Don't do what I did. I should have gone to the emergency room, because later on, when I would have these problems, I would go to the emergency room. That said, check out some of my other videos. Like and subscribe, share, do whatever you want. Thumbs up, thumbs down. The ball is in your court. As always, stay tuned, come back, and see y'all later.